I'm Art Bomke. I think it's important to consider ecosystem services, that is, the services that the landscape provides to wildlife, to pollinators, people. I think we need to consider it holistically across the landscape. It's not just limited to farmland or forested land or wildlands, but it's also, it crosses the urban boundary. We're situated here in the middle of Riley Park in the heart of Vancouver. The very site that we're on was likely occupied maybe 8,000 or 9,000 years ago by First Nations people who accessed this area by boat, despite the fact that we're now well above sea level. And it's a place to interact with the community in a way that educates, that informs, that empowers, particularly around food, the growing food, food preparation, food distribution, and food security. The philosophy here is that we don't have individual plots like an allotment garden, but we operate communally and work together for whatever needs to be done: harvesting, planting, shaping the beds, adding compost, and so on. It's all done, and the produce is shared amongst the gardeners. If we have a surplus, that goes into the Little Mountain Food Distribution program. What we would like for people to learn from what we're doing here is how food grows in this climate, in this community, and hopefully to connect us with the broader issues of our food system that is provided by local farmers. So this is a chance to see things firsthand. It's spiritually and emotionally satisfying to have that opportunity. And our participants in the garden, quite a few of them are seniors like myself. We're extending our opportunities down to elementary school students who come visit the garden, so there's a chance for real intergenerational exchange through this as well. We should evaluate these systems in terms of whether they create a healthy environment. And the healthy environment is one that provide the pollination services that we need for all of our food crops, that create habitat for wildlife, some of which is endangered and some of which is of global significance, and also clean water. The runoff from agriculture should be such that it doesn't endanger wildlife, that it doesn't endanger people's water supplies. The second area should be under the label creating a healthy human population. Are we producing the food with the nutrients that people need in order to thrive? Are those foods readily available to people throughout our community? Programs that directly support ecosystem services and educate about ecosystem services need to be supported to the extent that we can hire the people to do the job. That's number one. We struggle with having sufficient funding of a sustainable nature to give job security and to hire the people who we need to make this happen. We'd like to see this idea spreading out from the garden across our parks, across our private lands in the community, so there's a connectivity across the urban landscape, hopefully extending across the rural-urban boundary into the agricultural land reserve, so that at the end of the day we look at Lower Mainland as a continuum of habitat that supports beneficial insects and birds and other wildlife.